That was when my negative, experience, or my negative review came from. That was the beginning. I never knew that there was more to come.
Alone inside a crowd, 'cause I can't see you anywhere.
So the senior doctor now came, and obviously he asked from the matron. The matron told him everything, and he was like, okay, no problem. She was like, I'm fast, my contractions are very strong, that she has already come to check me, that she's about to break my water, but she wants me to get 8 centimeters before she does that, because throughout all this contraction and everything, my water hasn't broken at that point in time, nothing. So when she came and she wanted to break the water, she told me that she would come back, that she wanted me to be 8 centimeters dilated first. So before she came back, that senior doctor, not the house officer, the senior doctor, maybe the senior reg or whatever, I'm sure he wasn't a consultant, came and checked me and realized I was already 8 centimeters dilated. Then he broke my water. As soon as he broke my water, the nurse came and she was like, that was what she also wanted to do. So it was after the next dilation, that is 10 centimeters, that was when I'll have to start pushing. So he broke my water, and the woman started getting ready, because she knew that the next thing was for me to push. So after she got ready and everything was done, she told me that, don't worry, it's time for you to push. I can start seeing your baby's head. All you need to do is push as if you want to, pass out number 2. And when you do that, you do it like you mean it. Do it very hard, do it very well. Put your hands on your heels, raise your head a bit, and push during your contraction. So I've seen videos, and I've had a little bit of understanding, I thought, about how you're supposed to push. I never knew your pushing has to happen during your contraction, like while you're having I don't even know what to say. While you're having the contraction, you ask when you're supposed to push. Just imagine you going through pain, then you now have to do something rigorous during that time. But when you're almost there, you just have to muster that courage, gather all the energy you have to do what you have to do to get what you want. So I started the first one. She was like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to make sounds. Like I was doing and she was like, you're not supposed to make sound. I'm not supposed to hear any sound, severe sound, like no, you're supposed to do it like you're having constipation and you want to pass out that number 2 with full force. Do it like you actually want to pass out number 2. I did it the second time, I didn't get it. When I did it the third time, I paid attention. I remembered what she said, that okay, like I want to pass out number 2, and now did it like I meant it, and it really worked. But she told me that it wasn't hard enough, that I should do it the fourth time. I did it the fourth time. It was like, all my energy. I was like, oh god, this thing is not funny. It's easy to laugh now, but it wasn't funny then. Like I used all my energy, and this thing burns in the V area. Like it burns while you're trying to do as if you're doing number 2. The V area where the baby is supposed to come out, it also burns there. It burns me. So I had to just man it, and she was like, okay, I'm seeing your baby's head now. This is the last one, which is the 5th one. Do it this last one, and once you do it, I'm sure your baby's head will come out. I did it like I meant it, and my baby's head came out, and she told me that I shouldn't push again. In between this push, I have to stop the moment my contraction stops. So that's when I have a little bit of time to take a breather, to rest, and before I continue again, the moment my contraction comes back again. But the moment my baby's head came out, I could stop, and she did the rest. And I was like, finally. I was so happy. They gave me my baby. I hugged her, I carried her, I kissed her. I was so very happy. And as soon as I did everything, as soon as I kissed her, and I was crying, like, God, finally I can hold my baby. I was so emotional. I was crying. One annoying, not the nice matron, another nurse that was assisting was asking me this very stupid question, that why was I crying? Like, why would you be asking me that kind of question? I don't even understand how some people behave, but it's just very typical of some hospitals, especially government hospital. I'll definitely ignore her. I kept on crying, and when they took my baby from me, I called my husband and I told him that my baby's name is Sekina. meaning tranquility. So I told my baby that my husband that um baby Sekina is here. Finally, it was around 7 because my contraction lasted contraction slash delivery lasted for about, or labor slash delivery lasted for about 3 hours plus. So it was around, I think, 7 or after 7, and I was happy. I felt relaxed that, that's all. It's just for me to carry my baby and, be taken to the next ward, and we'll just start cruising, breastfeeding. Everything will just be all rosy. Oh, I never knew that. This is super. Okay, no, not this is super story, but this is just the beginning. I never knew this is just the beginning. Like, I was just, or your was my case. So I was just very happy, and I was grateful to God that my baby finally came. So after they carried my baby, and I was just there. I just thought they were just going to clean me up and give me what to wear, obviously, because I bought everything, dress my baby up, give my baby to breastfeed, and everything was just going to be all smooth. Now the little, I won't say issue, but the little issue my baby will be talked about, I'll talk about another day, because that's another entire video on its own. But let me just talk about my experience after I gave birth, my personal experience. So they were trying to clean me up. The nurse was trying to clean me up, and she was like talking to the other doctors. So when you're in a government hospital, you have a lot of people taking care of you, not just 2 people, not just 1 person. You can have like 4 people, 3 people with you. Do you understand? And long time, and during the process, more people will keep coming and leaving, asking questions. A lot of people are involved. A lot of medical practitioners are involved in government hospitals. That's what makes it good, obviously. But it also has its negative, because because there are a lot of people, you have a lot of reactions, I guess. So the nurse, not the nurse that delivered my baby, because she had done her job and she had gone. So the nurse that was supposed to take care of me afterwards noticed that I was bleeding, and she was asking that annoying house officer if it should suture me, or if she should, and they kept on debating on who should do it, and they were worried about the bleeding. So the senior reg, or the senior doctor, had to come in, and he was like, wow, that this bleeding was so much, that what could be the cause. So he made mention of fibroid, more or less like, do I have fibroid? That could be the only reason why my bleeding, because my tears were very little based on what I heard them saying. And I said, yes, I do. And this man gave me this look like, so it's even your fault, that's why you're bleeding, because he gave me this look like, no wonder. And he eyed me. Then he told them to move away, and he sat down, and he took this pad. There's this particular pad that you have to buy that is specific for mothers that have just delivered, and he just put everything in, trying to clean the bleeding, clean the blood and everything. And it was just being aggressive about it. And when he was aggressive about it and I was feeling pains, there was nothing like sorry from his mouth. It kind of made me realize that it seems some doctors treat patients like they're just treating every other person, like it's just another case, it's just another person, nothing special about you. More or less like just working on another specimen. Do you get? On another machine, on another cadaver. It didn't treat me like a human being, truthfully. It didn't treat me like he had some level of compassion or empathy. He was just doing his own. I was crying, feeling pains, making sounds. He didn't care. So it was time for him to now suture me, and he wanted to suture the V area first. At that time, I don't think he noticed that I also had tear in the C area. That's the inner one. So he wanted to suture the V area, and he anesthetized the areas he had already seen. And when he anesthetized the areas and he was about to start the suturing, while he did the first, he put the needle in the first place, I didn't feel anything, just pressure. I was very happy that I didn't have to feel anything. The second one, I didn't feel anything. Then while he was doing it, he saw a new place, and he talked about it. That like, I didn't quickly see this. Now the normal thing any reasonable person should do was to anesthetize me again, so that I don't feel pain in that new area. Guys, you won't believe that this man just did this, as in he just put the pin there, or whatever that stuff was, with, as if, oh god. And I felt the pain, which is normal, like I'm human. I felt the pain, and I moved a bit, And this guy held me down and he shouted at me that, do you want to injure me? Do you want me to choke myself? And he looked at me with these straight eyes, with the nurses around, and not a single person told me sorry. Oh God, if I could insult the man, if I could scream at him, if I could just get out and walk away, I would have. I couldn't. So I just looked at him that, but the place is paining me. That's why I shouted. And he was like, the place is paining you. I should better stay in one place or whatever. And that was how he kept on suturing every area, every part, every new places he noticed in my V area, with me feeling severe pains, with me tearing up, and I just did not even, I thought I would give birth to my baby and that was all. I did not know that I was going to go through, suturing that was going to pain me. So the emotions just kept on, after giving birth, after going through contractions during your labor, after going through the pushing, you think it's time for you to rest. I never knew I was going to experience that. So I was just crying. I just, that means I just had to just accept whatever came, that there's nothing I could do. Let me just endure it. So it kept on, because it is a specialist hospital, everybody, most times they always want to make sure they do every single thing right. So he couldn't see very well, so I had to move with my pain to another particular place where there were lights, and I had to raise my legs for him to see well. And he was just trying. Even I had to give them my phone. Oh, Nigeria, this is kind of embarrassing to say, but it's just what it is. I had to give them my phone for them to on the torchlight, even with the light. Even with the lighting, they didn't have any extra lights. I don't know if it's specific for Nigeria or I don't know, but he couldn't still see very well. Maybe it's his eyes. I don't know. Maybe it's his eyes. So he kept on, trying until it was done, and I thought that was it. So when it was done, I think he also thought that was it. So he tried to clean that area, and cleaning that area is very, very painful. And he didn't tell me sorry. See, there was no level of empathy. I was one that was crying. I was one that was telling myself sorry, and I was just praying to God that, please let this thing just be over. Like, I can't wait for this thing to be over with, and just to carry my baby, just to see my husband, because I know everybody would have heard the news, jubilating, and me, I'm still here feeling these pains, going through this stress. It was so tough for me. So when he was done cleaning it, he now noticed that the C area was also the blood. He noticed that the bleeding had not stopped after he finished cleaning, and he noticed that it wasn't from the V area. So he figured it was probably from the C area. So he decided to check. That was even when he needed more light, because it was, it was inside. So he just kept on trying to check, trying to see what was going on, and he saw some areas where he needed to suture as well. Thank goodness, I think he anesthetized me this time around. I'm not sure if he did it in every area, but at that point in time, I just didn't really care anymore. I was just willing to endure the pain till everything was over. So he kept on checking. This thing took a long time. It took time. I just like, when was this be over? It took about another hour. I wouldn't lie. It took about another hour, if not more than an hour. All the parts he couldn't see, he needed more people to come to check. They would check again. Oh, this is it. Eventually, a nurse came, or a matron came, and she was able to see the last area he wanted to suture, and he sutured it. And when it was done, they cleaned me again, which was also painful. And after they did that, I think I was okay, though I was already feeling pains, but I was just like, at least it's over. And I remember the doctor making one statement that, oh, you want to give birth. Now you've given birth, you're happy, right? Now this will make you think of the number of children you want to have. Though I didn't have the energy, I didn't have that mental strength or the physical strength to think about it too much or to react to it. But thinking of it, I'm like, how can a human being make that kind of statement to a woman who just delivered a baby? But it just goes a long way to show how the medical system of Nigeria, when you talk about government hospitals, I've never really been to private hospitals since I grew up. I think it goes to show how they've detached their emotional, intelligence, or their emotional self from doing their job when they are doing their job in the hospital. Because if you hear people's stories about how medical practitioners behave in hospitals, how the registry, the records, the nurses, how they behave, it's almost similar. Making that statement to somebody who just gave birth. But I just ignored him. I didn't even say anything. I just left, and I started feeling, shivers. I was shaking. I was feeling pains in my pelvic area, severe pains, like the contraction, though it wasn't as bad. That pain was more or less like menstrual pain. And I just had to walk to my, obviously they won't wheel you to anywhere. You're going to walk with your two legs to wherever you're going to lie down. And now the thing I forgot to say was, as soon as I gave birth, there was this tablet they gave me to put underneath my tongue. I think that's what, I'm not sure, but I think that's what helps with the contraction, like just for you to, it triggers the contraction so that your uterus will start reducing. I don't know if there's another reason why that happens, but why they give that, but that's the reason I think I heard for giving that tablet. So I heard that one of the effects of that tablet is the shivering and the you feeling cold. I think that's majorly feeling cold and the pain. So that was it. I just had to walk. At that point in time, I didn't even know where my baby was. I was thinking I was going to see my baby all dressed near me where I was supposed to lay down, but I did not see my baby. I had to manage myself, go to my bed. I was feeling cold. I needed to take my bath. I needed to eat. I needed to use medications. Everything all at once. Anyways, those are just one of the things that comes with giving birth. I've never been out of the country, but I can say that comes with giving birth in some places in Nigeria, because I'm sure not everybody will have this experience. But as much as I was so happy, obviously, and so grateful to the Almighty God, and I'm still grateful to Almighty God for the experience, I wouldn't deny the fact that some of the things that happened could have been avoided. The way I was treated by some of the medical professionals or practitioners wasn't so nice. It wasn't a good experience for me. I wasn't happy. Every time I think about it, it still has this emotion. I still get emotional about that experience, from some of the practitioners, how they treated me, how they didn't treat me as if I just went through pains, as if to them it's like, this, you're not going to be the first person, and you're not going to be the last person that we're going to deliver a baby for. So just deal with it, get over yourself, and move on. Stay strong. You're not going to be the first mother, and you won't be and this might not even be your first child, or this will not be your only child. So why are you behaving as if you want to die after just one child? So that's just that about everything. I'm grateful to the Almighty that I was able to deliver my beautiful baby, in as much as the experience was, mixed. It had its happy moments, and it had the moments that I was just not happy because of what I went through. And there was a lot of things that still happened afterwards about my baby, why we had to stay in the hospital for a while before we got discharged, and that's going to be a story for another day. Just make sure you stay tuned so you get to catch up with that story, because it's also very interesting. And trust me, I have many more stories to share about my experience, my experience so far about being a mother, a new mom of a beautiful daughter, and just so much for you to just so much for me to share with you guys. I hope you stay back in subsequent videos to watch. I hope you stay back, or I hope you stay tuned for subsequent videos I get to share with you guys. Oh, English hard. I hope you get to stay tuned for subsequent videos I have to share for you guys. So if you want to be the first to know about every video I upload, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get alerted every single time I post a new video. And make sure you also subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel, like my video, give it a thumbs up if you really like it, so that YouTube shows this video to more people, so suggest it to more people. And leave a comment below. Tell me your labor or delivery experience. If you're a mother, tell me what it was for you, where you're from. Let me just know if I'm the only one that I've experienced something like this, or if I'm not the only one. And thanks for watching this video. If you've watched this to this level, thank you so much, and see you later in my next one. Bye.
So to speak, yeah, quick
you change your mind?